volume and surface area of prisms. We're going to start with surface area. It's a little more complicated. We're going to go all the way down to this one that looks like a box. Okay? And we're going to talk about how to find this. So let's first of all say that this is (15 by 16), and this is by 5. So I've got to figure out the area of each part. Now, when I talk about the area of the base for a prism, there are always two bases that are exactly the same, and there aren't any others. Yes, Murphy speaking. Yeah, sure. Okay, so those are my bases. 15 times 16 is 240. So I can put that in both spots, right? I don't need to do it over and over again. I just know that. Okay. Now I want to find each of these little rectangles. Okay, so how am I going to do that? I know this spot right here matches up with a 5, so I know this is 15. 15 times 5 is 75, so these are each 75. Now I'm going to have to add them all together, right? So this is taking a really long time. There's lots of little parts right here. Is there just a 4? And what if I don't have a net? If I just are given this, then I have to draw this out first, then I have to do it? Okay? So instead, we're going to come up with a formula. Yeah, I know some of you are going to say, I think that's supposed to be 16 and not 15. I really think it's supposed to be 15. Okay, so let's talk about the formula. So I'm going to go 2 times the base. Yeah. 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the distance between the two heights. Okay, is my formula for surface area. All right, so we're going to talk about defining each of these letters first, and then we're going to put it in the formula. So B does not mean base, like it doesn't mean 16. It means area of the base. P doesn't stand for the perimeter, like I'm not going to walk around the whole thing multiple times. Perimeter is just perimeter of the base. Okay. And height doesn't really stand for height, it stands for the distance between the two bases. So now I'm going to find each of these parts before I plug them into the formula. I know the area of the base for a rectangle is length times width, so that's 16 times 15, which gives me 240. Now the perimeter is going to be 15 plus 16 plus 15 plus 16, which is going to give me a total of 62. And the distance between the two bases, this distance right here between the two bases is going to be 5. Now I plug it in. 2 times the area of the base, 240, plus the perimeter, 62, times the height, 5, gives me 790 units squared. How are you feeling about that? Okay, let's talk about how, we already talked about cylinders before when we did circles, so I'm just going to show you how they're the same. Okay? If we do 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height or the distance between the two bases, I'm still going to get 2, the area of the base of a circle. What's the area of a circle again? Pi r squared. Plus, what's the perimeter or the circumference of a circle? 2 pi r. Okay. Does that formula look familiar?
Yes.
Yeah, from your circle book? Okay, what's the radius for these? What's your height for these, or the distance between the two heights? Okay. So it's going to be 2 pi 2 squared plus 2 pi 2 times 10. Okay, and we just get 150.796 units squared. All right, ready for a challenge? Remember from Friday or from Thursday how to find the area of pentagons and hexagons and all that? We're going to do one of those. I'm going to go to the very top and we're going to do the hexagon. Okay? All right. So remember my formula is still, for surface area, still is 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height. Okay. For the area of a hexagon, what is that formula again? Do you guys remember? For area of a polygon? 1/2 apothem times the number of sides times the length of the sides. Okay? So the area of this base is going to be 1/2. What's the apothem? So let's rewrite this. This is 6.9 right here. This length is going to be 8. This length is going to be 9. Ooh, this length is going to be 9. Okay. So what is the apothem? Is it going to be 6.9, 8, or 9? 6.9 is drawn inside your hexagon, 6.9. How many sides does this have, just the base? 6. What's the length of each side? 8. And we plug that into a calculator, and we find that it is, so B equals 165.6. What's the perimeter of just my base? And how would I figure that out? What's the perimeter? If I walk all the way around this. Yeah, or how many sides are there?
6.
So 8 times 6 is?
48.
There you go. And what is the distance between the two bases? So here's the bottom base, right? Here's the top base. 9. There you go. I don't like to say height because what if it was turned on its side? It's still the distance between those two. Now I'm just going to plug this in. 2 times 165.6 plus the perimeter, 48, times the height, 9. And we get 763.2 units squared. Okay, now I want you to use the same information. I'm just going to give you a few minutes. And I want you to find the one right below it, this pentagon right here. So it's a little complicated because this is a pentagonal prism. I want you to use that same information. The formulas are still the same. And I'm going to give you, like, let's say 3 minutes to get started at least. If you don't finish, you don't finish. But let's do it. Just 3 minutes. Try it. Don't sit there and make silly noises.
Wait, so is this a 2B plus pH? Like that's
This is the number of sides. So how many sides does this one have? Correct. There's
I
the
learned-
base.
I learned how to count. I learned how to count. Okay, so you have to do 8 times 5. I lied. You don't do 8. Alright. 65. Height equals H.
Okay, that's it.
Don't
Okay.
change that alarm. That
I know,
scared the
that's
crap out of me.
Horrible alarm, isn't it? Okay. So let's go through this.
I'm going.
Remember, the surface area is always going to be 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. So, area of the base in this case is 1/2 the apothem. What's the apothem for this?
8.9.
8.9. How many sides are there? What's the length of each side?
13.
There we go.
Oh, I did do it right.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So we get the area of the base,
200.
89.25.
Yay.
What's the perimeter?
65.
Right? Because I did 13 times 5.
Yep.
And what is the distance between the two?
8.
So 2 times 289.25 plus the perimeter, 65, times 8 gives me 1,098.5 units squared. Okay, now we're going to keep practicing surface area, but we're going to add volume to it. So let's turn it over.
Oh, yay.
If we had more time, we wouldn't, guys. I know. I don't want to. I heard, can we not do this? Add more to it, but we got to do it. Okay, so we know surface area is 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height. Now, volume is the base times the height. Okay, the area of the base times the height. So let's start with this first triangular prism right here. Let's find the surface area first, and then we'll find the volume.
Oh, you have to find both?
Yep.
Oh.
Oh,
right. So the surface area, we've got a 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height. The area of the base. So what's triangle again? It's the area of a triangle. Say it again.
180.
No, what's the formula?
1/3.
1/2 length times width. So 8 times 6 times 1/2 is 24. The perimeter, we know that if this is 10 up here, we know it's also 10 down here, right? So 10 plus 8 plus 6 is also 24. What's the distance between the two bases? What's the distance between the two bases?
4.
So we're going to go 2 times 24 plus 24 times 4. And we get 238 yards squared. And then let's go ahead and figure out the volume. Volume is just area of the base times the distance between the two bases. So what's the area of the base for this? We already know it, right? It's
24.
and what's the distance between the two bases?
4.
So you just put that in your calculator and you get volume equals 96 kilometers cubed. See, volume's a lot easier, right?
Yeah. Why can't we do this more often?
Okay. Why don't you guys try almost the exact same one? Okay, so it's a triangle, still a triangle. Try this one down here at the bottom. And I'm going to give you 3 minutes again. And it's going to be the same annoying one, I'm sorry.
Wait, so how do you
Remember, a triangle is 1/2 the length times the width. So outline your triangle. Figure out what the length and the width is. Multiply them together times by 1/2.
Yeah, I give up on this one.
I
I gave up. Oh, okay. Okay, never mind.
No, it's like
But it would be P stay the same, or would they be different? Do they stay the same, B and P, or are they different?
Often they're different.
you know, I mean, like you can like even outside school. This is so weird. It's so weird. I'm about to come back. She might break. Oh. She got this sticker.
And then
She's gonna come in next year like
so after D, you would go down there, and then
well, that's
so
that
you
one.
get a break.
I
And
know
then
you
every
didn't come
rotation,
here. I work in
every rotation would be like every hour.
I forgot her name.
It's not that.
Oh, that's my girlfriend. I know what you're talking about.
Well, you only do it at the bottom of the straight side. At the bottom of the slide, it's like incentives, like the two side and stuff. There's like so.
Yeah, I don't like
At the bottom of the
white girl, angel, white angel,
slide,
Caroline, heroin. No, I'm just saying like different ways to say cocaine. White water.
Hey, remember all of this is being recorded. All of this is being recorded. If we could talk just about math right now, that'd be great.
Okay, then. Okay, let's go pick this.
Is that going to be included in your video?
All of this is in there.
20 minutes is
You can edit it out.
Tracy, only this particular problem. All right, that's it. Okay, focus. All right. So we need to find the surface area, which is 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height. First of all, what is the base? I know it's going to be 1/2 the length times the width, so 3 times 4. So it's going to be 6.
Okay, I got that right.
The perimeter, I'm going to walk all the way around. 3 plus 4 plus 5 gives me 12. Okay? And the distance between the two triangles is going to be 9. 2 times the area of the base plus the perimeter times the height. We're going to put that all in there. We get 120 kilometers squared. Okay. Now we are going to find the volume. Volume equals the area of the base times the height. So volume equals area of the base is 6 times the height, or the distance between the two bases, is 9. So 54 kilometers cubed is the volume. Okay, I'm going to do this trapezoid one. And then I'm going to do one on your homework. Okay, so we've got a trapezoid. Do you guys remember how to find the area of a trapezoid?
No.
Okay, so we're going to find the surface area, which is 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height and the volume, which is the area of the base times the height. Okay, so the base for a trapezoid is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. So I'm just looking right here at this trapezoid. Okay? So I'm going to say 1/2. Bases are parallel to each other. These are parallel. So that's 3 plus 7. The height is right here, 3.5. I put that in my calculator and I find that the base is 17.5. That's the area of my base. Now the perimeter of my base. So that's 7 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4. 7 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4. If I'm walking all the way around, that gives me 18. The distance between the two bases is 6. Okay? So that's 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height, giving me a total of 143 yards squared. Now to find volume, simply I'm going to do the area of the base, which I already have, 17.5, times the distance between the two bases, that's 6. And I get 105 yards what? Cubed. Okay, let's do one of the problems from your homework. We're going to look at, on the back, we're going to do one of these problems. We're going to do this one down here. We're going to do this. So if I'm looking at the back, I'm going to do this one. Find the volume and surface area of a cylinder. Okay? So, I've got a cylinder. I like to draw the picture. I think that makes my life easier. You do not have to if you don't want to. It has a radius of 4 yards and a height of 5. So I'm just going to go 2 pi 4 squared plus 2 pi 4 5. So again, that's 2 pi 4 squared plus 2 pi 4 times 5. And that gives me the surface area, ladies in the back, 226.195, and that is yards squared. And then I'm going to find my volume, and volume is the area of the base, or pi r squared, times the height. So pi times 4 squared times 5. Pi times 4 squared times 5 gives me my volume equals 251.327 yards cubed. Okay? All right, you have the rest of the hour to work on your homework. You should be able to get a large majority of it done. And I